is a recreation of a nail that was requested, so I'm going to give the tutorial for this nail. And I'm going to start out by telling you what I've used. First, I used RGS 2744 Claricolors Liner Gel. Claricolors Liner Gel RGS 1522. This is a red glitter. This is a champagne glitter. And then Beetles Marigold Liner Gel B496. And it's like a pastel-y orange. I also use Blooming Gel by Lavender Violets. Painting Gel, another liner by Claricolors. R8978. It's a neon green. Then I use a neon yellow by Beetles, Lemon Tonic B500. And a Venalisa Mud Gel V41. And then of course a top coat, LGN Pro Shiny. So let's get started. Now firstly, this is a smaller nail than this one, but I used a colored nail tip last time because if any's showing, this will take care of it. So that's what I'm going to do this time. Just be smaller. First thing I did was use Blooming Gel. And I'm going to open up my 3 liners that I used to make my marbling. Before I start. Alright, you just want a regular layer. Alright, and you're not going to cure that. Now we're going to take our red glitter. We're going to just make some type of little design with it. No specific design. I'm going to go in with our next color. We're still not curing. This is our other glitter, our champagne glitter. Now we're going to go in with our solid color. Usually people use white or black for this, but I'm using this light colored orange. And we're going to follow a design here where we did this with the glitter. You kind of follow the direction that you went with that. And I'm going to actually add some right here and up here. And I'm going to let that spread a little more and actually add a little more red right here. And anywhere else I see fit. I think it's spread enough. I think it's good to go. I'm going to wipe this edges because it's spread to the edges and cure that for 60 seconds. Now we are done with the marbling. All right, now we're good to go. I will be putting a matte coat on this. It makes it easier to paint over. So let me find my matte here. LGN Pro Matte Top Coat. Again, it's only so I can paint on it. This will be a shiny nail. This just makes it easier to paint on top of. Not that I'm Picasso, but still. Cure that for 60 seconds. All right, now it's all matte, which, I mean, it looks pretty matte too, but that's not what we're going for. Now this is where I use my Vanillisa Mud Gel. It doesn't run, and you know, you don't have to cure everything you're doing right away. So I'm just going to use this little thin liner brush. And I'm going to start by putting a dot where I want the middle of the flower to be. And I'm going to draw lines where I want the petals to be. And now I'm going to draw my stem in between these two. I'm going to do the leaves. Now I'm filling these in because I will be painting over this again. By using white on this, not only is it easier to paint over top, you know, to paint with being mud gel, it's also eliminating the background from showing through a color for you. So that is why I'm using the solid white, because I'll be going over this white with color gel. And being that it's white, just whatever color you use is just going to show that color super brightly. And you only need one coat. Now, see, it doesn't run. So I have the option to just keep going. So each one of these lines I made for a petal. I'll get you a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. Each line that I made for a petal will be filled in, so I'm just going to come in here and loop like that. I'm going to go outside the loop like that, and there's your petal. Now we're going to go to the next one. Go beyond that. Like I said, fill it in. Now I'm trying to get them around the same length. Fill that in. You want to make sure the petals are somewhat separate from each other, otherwise it just all blurs into the same thing and don't look good. You want your separate petals. And I have 6 here. I could have done 5, but I put 6 on here because I put 6 on the last one. I heard somewhere that all flowers have odd numbers of petals. I don't know how true that is, but I'm not trying to be factual. I'm just trying to draw a design I like. Okay. This is a fairly quick design to do, unless you're doing it on every single nail. And my last petal right here. Yeah, when you're doing this on 10 different nails, it's gonna take a while. And see, this one's no longer as big as the rest, so I'm gonna come in and make it a little bigger. That's why I said you can't get them all perfect, but in the end you can make them look similar. This one's a little too thin, so I'll bring it out here. And this one looks a little straight, so I'm gonna come in and fix this one. There we go. And right here. Now, I think we're good. Now I'm gonna cure this 60 seconds. What I forgot to show you is I also needed 2 more colors. This is Orange Popsicle by Beetles. It's the liner gel B501, which I'll be putting on this palette. Because I forgot I painted the color of the flower a little differently. And then this gel by Gobofo, and it's number 028. I'm gonna put that. This is the center of the flower. It's like a brick color almost. I'm gonna need this on my palette, that lemon tonic. Just a little bit of this. It's just the center of the flower. And then our neon green for the stem and the leaves. Now that we have our palette loaded, this white flower that's cured, we're going to paint over. I'm going to take my neon green and I'm just going to follow the same line over top. And you only want the one coat, so it's going to be light, and that's fine. Excuse me. Sorry, I was out of frame, but now we need to just get our green over everything. And we will be curing this in stages because this is regular liner gel. It's not going to stay in place that long. It'll start running. And we really don't want it to. So when I get through the green, I will be curing it. I like to do a full cure instead of a spot cure because some polishes will wrinkle up on you if you do a spot cure. And I choose not to find out. One gel I will do a spot cure on is the solid gels. They tend to do well with a spot cure, if you need to do one. So I'm going to cure this. Now on to the next part. Now I'm going to paint this flower orange. You know what? No, I didn't. I'm looking at it now. I know what I'm thinking. Let me wipe that off. I did have orange in there, but I also used the one that I used for the marble. I'm sorry. The marigold. So let me get that on there. So the flower itself is this color. Get every petal of this. The flower come together after the base color. You'll see where it's starting to look better. Alright, one more. We're almost done. With this part anyway. I spend a lot of time on my post nails, and I like for it to show. So where one person might say, yeah, I'm not spending that much time on a post nail, people who truly enjoy it will. Cure that for 60 seconds. Okay, let's get on to the next part. I've got an even thinner liner brush that I've made here, and I'm going to go into the orange now, the neon orange. I'm just going to brush it out down each petal. I'm going to do that from the center. You want to feather it out when you get to the petals, once you've got it all distributed for yourself. That's all you're gonna do. There's no right or wrong way. As long as you're on the petals, you're not going all the way down the petals. Alright, cure that for 60 seconds. Now, our final layer for the flower. We're going to go into that brick-like color, and when you do this one, you're going to do it less, because it's going to be inside the orange. You don't want this going past the neon orange. But you're still going to do it down every petal, just not as far as the neon orange. Yes, these colors don't look like they go together, but they do great for flowers. Now in the center, I'm going to add just a little more, spread it around. And from that tiny little dot there, we're going to work it out. Now, the spots where you don't have petals, where it comes together, you're going to feather it out a little bit there too. Just a little bit, not as much as the petals. That looks good to me. Cure that for 60 seconds. Okay, and the final touch on the flower is that neon yellow. You're gonna get these little dots on your brush. Don't put the whole dot in one area. Lightly tap it. Get you as many middle dots as you want. And that one dot on the end of my brush did all of that. Cure that for 60 seconds. Oh, you know what? Wait. Before you cure that, you take that same neon yellow. You're going to do the line down your leaves. And now cure it. And I'm going to clean off my palette here because we're done with it. Now it's all clean. Okay, we're going to use our LGN Shiny Top Coat now that we've done all our painting. And there's our nice reveal shot. Cure that for 60 seconds. All right, and there she is. And here is the one that I made that she wanted a tutorial on. Slightly different. I know this nail is a little smaller, but that's the gist of it. I hope you liked this tutorial. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day or a wonderful night. Bye, little hotties.